Has been transformed to the epicenter of college basketball this week, and the party continues with our nightcap at MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas as the Geico Players Era Tournament continues on TNT. And we got Big Ten against Mountain West, Maryland and UNLV ready to do battle, and we got it for you right here on TNT. Welcome back courtside here in Las Vegas. Spiro Adidas, Greg Anthony. We'll hear from Jared Greenberg in just a little bit. Buzz Williams starting a new era of Maryland basketball, as is Josh Pastner with the Runnin' Rebels. We'll get into both of their stories as the night goes on. Jay, let's talk about the headliners, starting with Diggy Coit for the Terps.
Yeah, Diggy Coit, what a great shooter. This guy can flat up, light it up, and he's going to be expected to continue. Maybe not at the pace where he threw up 41 the other night against Mount St. Mary's, but he's a guy that can be electric offensively, as Buzz Williams has had this team playing at a high level offensively. And then for UNLV, this young man, Isaac Williamson, has really been a tone setter. The young fella controls the tempo, allows everybody to play with confidence, but he's also one that can let you have it with the jumper.
Take a look at how these two coaches will start. All kinds of injuries for UNLV. We'll get to that here in just a moment with Jared, but Dre Gibbs-Lawhorn, a guy who they are really depending on to give them elite level scoring. Fleming has been really good. And Kamani Hamilton, keep your eyes on him tonight. And meantime for Maryland, all the firepower that they have as we check in with Jared.
Well, Spiro, it is an extra special happy early Tuesday morning for those in the DMV who are watching tonight to learn that Farrell Payne is in the lineup just 9 days after suffering a gruesome fall at Marquette, where it appeared that he injured his hip. In fact, he had to be stretchered off the floor and taken to a local hospital. But he is ready to go tonight after practicing yesterday. He is, though, for the first time this season wearing a knee brace. Not as good of news for UNLV. They're down another big. Jacob Benarbi tweaked the calf last game, had been practicing, but the staff was informed earlier today that doctors did not clear him. So the Runnin' Rebels down to just one active big for tonight against Maryland.
Yeah, Jared, that means that Tyron Jones, young freshman from right here in Las Vegas, who usually plays a little bit of the 3, a little bit of the 4, tonight is going to have to give him some minutes at that center position, as they are severely shorthanded up front.
And even though this UNLV team has scored it at a nice clip, both around 90 a game, they have not shot it particularly well. And Josh Pastner really feels like maybe this could be a coming out party for him, as they get fouled on a triple there by Coit.
That's Kamani Hamilton, who is bumped. But great to see Josh Pastner back in coaching after the last 2 years in television. Said he enjoyed working with Jared Greenberg and Greg Anthony, but he missed coaching. So he is back into the mix trying to...
He might have missed that paycheck, too. You know, a little bit better on that side of the aisle.
As Kamani Hamilton gets himself to the free throw line, shooting 3 here for the Runnin' Rebels. And how about Buzz Williams? That excellent run at Texas A&M. Boy, strange to see Buzz not wearing a suit tonight, going casual here in Vegas.
I know, and I tell you what, Buzz has won everywhere he's been. Marquette, he had tremendous success. He's a guy that his guys compete, they get after it. Not typically known as having teams that are great offensively, but this Maryland group is showing itself to be highly efficient and effective on that side of the ball.
4th coaching stop for Buzz Williams in what has been just a tremendous coaching run. Look at what he's done the last 6 years, or last 5 years, I beg your pardon, with Texas A&M. 3 straight trips to the dance. And can he reclaim this Maryland Terrapins program, get them back to the college basketball mountaintop? Good ball movement. Underneath, a reset. This is Mills on a 3, no. And a rebound tracked down by Gibbs-Lawhorn. UNLV enters the night 3-2 early part of the season as Hamilton misses from deep. And Maryland, meantime, comes into Vegas 4-1 as they try to get one here on the big stage. There's a step back 3, Darius Adams. And both teams looking for their stroke early.
Yeah, both teams want to play fast and want to get out in transition.
That was Tyron Jones. They got a piece right at the rim. Good interior transition defense by the Terps, and then the takeaway, Fleming Jr.
We thought our first game had some pace to it early on here. These are two teams that are really getting the ball up and down the floor.
Tyron Jones had a chance on a step back after the miss from Williamson, and we're still looking for our first basket. Just more than 90 seconds gone by. Mills on a leaner, goes glass. Andre Mills, the redshirt sophomore, one of the 3 players that Buzz brought with him from Texas A&M. Tough catch, Jones, that wiry frame outside Williamson. Corner pocket 3. And UNLV still looking for their first basket as Gibbs Lawhorn on the miss. Offensive rebound, traveling violation.
Good job with the help defense there, coming from that weak side paint, using that big, strong body. You see, he just bounces off him there. Easy call for the official.
So UNLV has missed its first 6 shots. Trying to figure it out at that end of the floor. This is Diggy Coit on the wing for Adams.
A little bit of almost like a matchup zone here from UNLV. Forces the turnover.
Jones on the theft. Gibbs Lawhorn finally gets the Rebels their first bucket.
Good job defensively with the activity by UNLV, playing a zone. They're going to be shorthanded, so this is a way that you can buy some rest for your players while they're in the game.
UNLV coming in off their 99-85 win over St. Joseph's a couple of days ago. What a win this would be for them. Neutral site, just up the road from campus. Movement into the corner. Williamson. This is Fleming Jr. That won't go, and the rebound corralled by Mills. Mills takes a bump on the perimeter. Official's going to get Howie Fleming Jr. I beg your pardon, Williamson.
See, gives on the attack, takes the contact, able to finish that nice little floater. And when you're shorthanded, you're going to look to get as many easy baskets, particularly in transition, as you can.
This Maryland team, 27 wins last year, that Sweet 16 run, but a completely overhauled roster as Darius Adams, one of the new faces. And he was no doubt the biggest prize in Buzz Williams' first class, 4th highest rated recruit in Maryland history.
That's pretty impressive. Maryland has got a tremendous basketball tradition. They're going to get an offensive foul here against UNLV.
So it's on Tyron Jones. That's his first personal. And the basketball back to Buzz Williams and the Terps. 4-1 start to the season. They come in after their Monday overtime win over Mount St. Mary's. A team that made a run to the first 4 last March. Coit misfires. And the running Rebels going to run. Williamson up top. Hamilton.
Hamilton there with some elevation.
Beautiful dime by Williamson on the break. Officials going to get a bump here. They're going to get Jones underneath. And everyone's going to catch their breath.
You get out in transition, bringing the running back for the Rebels here. Electric start on the alley-oop here in Vegas.
Coverage on TNT. It's presented by Sam's Club. A little bit of a ragged pace at the start. A little more than 4 minutes gone by. Both teams still trying to find their shot as we check in with Jared.
Well, Spiro, as you said, Buzz Williams is no stranger to taking over programs. Maryland really had to hit the refresh button when Kevin Willard left for Villanova. Coach had to bring in 15 new players, and yesterday was the 42nd practice of the season. 12 of those practices, though, have been with only 10 available players due to injuries. But that work pales in comparison to the work off the court that Coach Williams said he has done investing in relationships with very little actual coaching being done. He told me yesterday that in hindsight, that probably wasn't the smartest in terms of making sure he had his team prepared to potentially play 3 games in 3 days here in Vegas. But guys, what is necessary to build the culture that he refuses to compromise on?
Yeah, Jared, the word build, probably the most important word when you consider Buzz Williams' previous stop. He has been a builder of programs, especially the last 6 years at Texas A&M. And now trying to take this proud Maryland program to what they hope will be back towards the upper echelon of the sport. Trying to build off what they did last year with that Sweet 16 run. A couple of nifty spins on the low box. And Pharrell Payne dealing with some of that interior defense. Corner 3, no. Williamson. And once again, UNLV comes up empty.
Listen, both teams want to play fast and want to get up a lot of threes. And right now, neither really having much success on the perimeter.
So Payne is bumped. Laji Dembele will be whistled for the contact.
In a lot of ways, both these coaches, Asner and Buzz Williams, similar dynamics, right? You're coming in to programs that have both had storied history, but haven't really been close to the mountaintop in a while. I mean, obviously, Maryland's had a lot more success, but Isaiah Watts, able to knock down that jumper. But Buzz Williams, somebody I've always admired, has always had teams that fight and compete. And eventually you're going to see him be able to put his imprint and his identity on this group. But early on, they've had some success.
Howie Fleming Jr. is going to get himself to the free throw line. But just, to get back to Buzz Williams, you consider his previous stops, 5 of those years at Virginia Tech. And so he's got the recruiting and the footprints, the relationships that he built in the DMV, really the hotbed of the region that Maryland has to recruit some of the best players in the country from. One of the reasons certainly why they were drawn to him, got him that long-term contract, and you can see what he's building already with what they've done in recruiting.
Yeah, 3rd best class as of today in the country, so it's not going to take him long. It'll be interesting also to see how the dynamic of the transfers and how he utilizes the portal, because to your point, there is a lot of talent in that DMV area. There's an emergence with Georgetown, who they played earlier this year. They're going to have more of an impact in that area as well.
Diggy Coy, cash money from deep. Guy who can score points in bunches, as evidenced by that 41-point outburst earlier this week. And now both teams starting to cook. Fleming Jr.
Yeah, that's a little bit better showing. Got off to a slow start both sides in terms of their ability to make shots. Maybe this last 2 possessions here will get them going.
GA, it's contagious. Quay, good closeout. 5th Maryland turnover forced by UNLV. Williamson bottled up. Reset Dembele as we cross the 14-minute mark, first half. Hamilton, charging foul. Beautifully done by Miles Rice. Beat him to the spot.
Yeah, give Rice a lot of credit on setting that charge up, really, and it's right in front of the official. Easy call to make there. And what you've got to do if you're Kamani Hamilton is understanding. Generally, when you've got a size advantage on the block, that defender is going to try to bait you into that charge. You've got to be real cautious in how you attack.
Walter Brown, a senior from New Zealand, has checked into the game for Josh Pastner. But boy, Buzz Williams was happy to get Miles Rice back out the last 3 games with the ankle injury. Already making a contribution at the defensive end of the floor. Here comes Gibbs Lawhorn, walks a tightrope on the baseline. Dembele pulls it back, misses badly. UNLV has not shot at an efficient clip early part of the season, despite the fact that they enter the night shooting and scoring, I beg your pardon, at better than 90 per game.
Josh started that he expects them to shoot it well, though. He felt like coming into the season, this would be a group, as Rice turns it over there, that would shoot the basketball well. I mean, they play with great pace, and they've scored it, like you mentioned, at a high clip. But the ability to knock down that triple just has eluded them here thus far.
So Gibbs Longhorn will take a seat. Nars Cunningham, a redshirt sophomore from West Orange, New Jersey, in. And Josh told us before the game that he would have to go deeper into his bench tonight with all the injuries that they have. And he's running those bodies in and out already as we are past the 13-minute mark. This is Cunningham off balance. They got him on the arm. And Cunningham's going to shoot free throws. It's on Watts. And that's going to be his first personal. I beg your pardon, his second. So the UNLV running Rebels, can this program climb back up in college basketball? It's been 12 years since their last NCAA tournament appearance. Have to go all the way back to 2013. As Cunningham hits on the first. TNT Sports coverage of the Players Era is presented by Sam's Club. Join Sam's Club today and celebrate the season of yes, and say yes to everything you want and need.
You talk, it's been a bit of a drought for UNLV, and I talked with Coach Passner earlier today, and you know, a lot of folks around town, hey, you know, we're hoping you can get the program back, and he felt as I did. To me, it's not about getting it back; it's about starting it over, because there is a disconnect with what we did many years ago, and you can see this is a group that just has not been able to rekindle that. But I'm a big Josh Pastner fan. There's nobody going to work harder. They've got resources that they're going to have to just tap into, and the talent level is improved in Las Vegas as well, which gives them a foundation to start from.
Mills the steal, ignites the break. Adams corner three, no, and the tap up and in. Alex Alston, the freshman out of Chicago, off the bench. Big basket to tie this game at 12. Dembele on the deck to the rack. Traveling violation. Fifth UNLV turnover. Into the Las Vegas night we go. The running Rebels and the Terrapins on TNT. Back with you in Las Vegas, all tied UNLV and Maryland with 11 and change left in this first half. We got an awful treat here, but it's like a UNLV reunion tonight. Greg Anthony joined by his old teammate Stacey Augmon, 3 years together. Yeah. Great to see you in person. How you doing?
All right, I'm good. Good. It's great to be here. Actually, get my man here.
Got a real job now and everything too, man.
I'm employed. How about that?
So, Director of Community Engagement, as you've officially now kind of rejoined the program, what was the call like when you spoke to Josh Pastner, and what was your thought process?
The call was inviting. You know, I've been up here for 2 years, and I moved back to Las Vegas here, and once I got the call from Coach Pastner, it was almost a no-brainer, because I wanted to get back and give some kind of way to the program and see Las Vegas, which has been great for me.
And you talked a little bit about it. Obviously, the program is falling on hard times, but as you know, with Josh being such a great guy, such a great worker, and you told me, like, the feeling within the community as you've gone out and started engaging with a lot of the community leaders, there's a lot of excitement and optimism about what could potentially be here again.
Well, you know what? There is a lot of excitement around the city, and as I go in and have lunches and dinners with some of our boosters, so they're excited about Coach Pastner. You know what? I'm excited what I've been saying at Coach Pastner as far as his practice, the intensity that he's doing. But one thing about this, Greg, that it's gonna take a minute. You know, it's gonna take a building. It's a process. You know, Rome wasn't built overnight. So right now we have a lot of good pieces. Coach Pastner it's in good hands. You know, our program is in good hands with Coach Pastner, I should tell you, and I see it myself.
All the experience that he's brought to the table, trying to put it all together with this young unit. And speaking of experience, we're going to take a little stroll down memory lane. We're going to have some free throws here. Just all the great teams. You know, one of the great contingents
Look at that
in the history
hair.
of the
Look at
sport.
that hair.
LJ with Stacy and Greg.
That was a great night, man.
It definitely was.
It was an incredible 2-year run. National championship, Final Four the very next year with Jerry Tarkanian. I don't know who to ask for dirt. Do I ask GA for some dirt on you? But obviously incredible memories. And you know, you talk to a guy like Josh Pastner. He's also a guy who appreciates the history. He talked about, you know, the respect he had for watching Jerry Tarkanian as a young boy growing up. And the guy was trying to bring it all back together as you guys try to bring this program back to prominence.
Well, like I said before, it's going to take everyone. And that's everyone's been part of the program, and people that have been a part of the program, and also the city of Las Vegas just need to bond back together. Like I said, it's going to take a minute. You know, we have a lot of good pieces. Coach Paster's doing a great job and organize everything. Definitely excited what's going on.
Yeah, the other thing too is, you know, the city has changed so much. You know, there's a lot of local talent that wasn't necessarily here, you know, many moons ago. Our football program has really come on strong here the last few years, which I think creates a lot of potential possibilities in terms of a conference move. I've heard some rumors that could be in the offing moving forward, and you know, oftentimes you got to have everything working in the right direction, as you mentioned, Stacey. It feels like everybody is committed to helping the Rebels kind of get back to relevancy.
Yes, definitely. Our AD, Eric Harper, is doing a great job on his hires. He also works in the community. He does a great job. So just hands out here. And I also thank him also for bringing us back, you know, as a whole.
Stacey, you had some tough dudes on your old UNLV. Who was the toughest guy on that team?
On our team?
Yeah.
I was the toughest, of course. No, we have a lot of tough guys. You know what? Coach Tark, you know, he had to be tough to come to UNLV.
Yeah.
You know, and that was one of the standards there. And from the starting 5 to the 12th man on the bench with Travis Bice, he was very tough. He was a little skinny, but he was tough.
Yeah. Yeah, he created a great environment. And you know, it's unfortunate that the program has fallen, but oftentimes it gives you a little greater appreciation for the brilliance of a Jerry Tarkanian. You know, there have been very few coaches that were able to go somewhere and build something in essence from nothing. And that's what Coach did here at UNLV. I think of a guy like Jim Calhoun, what he did at UConn, you know, that's a much harder trait or task, I should say. And Josh is going to have his hands full, but I think, as Stacey said, he can get it done. I just want to see some enthusiasm and excitement back in the city. And Stacey, I know, is going to do a heck of a job in trying to bring all of that back, and I'm going to support him. And it brings back a lot of wonderful memories to be able to sit here with my backcourt mate and reminisce a little bit.
Don't be shy to hit up GA for some financial contributions, you know, some donations to the program as well.
Well, definitely. I know he got us, you know, so I'm not going to worry about that part.
We will do whatever we can to help, because, listen, nothing like being able to take pride in your university, right? You know, I'll be honest, never thought I'd see the day where I'd be more excited prior to this year for our football program with what they've been able to do the last few years. But I'm anxious. I got to watch the Maryland game and to see the Rebels kind of bounce back after a little bit of a slow start and go win in a place that is not easy to win in Memphis. And I tell you, even tonight, like this, you can see the fights there, the intensity's there, the effort. So I think brighter days are ahead.
Stacey, what are you seeing so far in the game? Obviously, you guys dealing with some injuries. Your front court short. Give us your assessment of the first half so far.
The first half was good, and we just mainly think we have to stay out of foul trouble. We have a lot of young guys that commit unnecessary fouls, but if we stay out of playing out of the crowd and hit the open shot and rebound the offensive ball, I believe we're going to be okay. You know, our defensive intensity is up high. But the way they're passing the ball now, and this is how they play, we're trying to run the ball, push the ball up and down, so it's great. And the old running Rebels is back. You know, I like how we're playing, how we're pushing the ball.
Beautiful dime by Williamson to set up Hamilton. So UNLV has scored 8 straight points. Josh Pastner is hot. pounds his fist on the score table, and I think he's going to get hit with a technical.
I think he's trying to argue his case that he wasn't trying to show up the official. He's more frustrated with the play of his player, but unfortunately, that's not how the officials see it.
We have to get Stacy over there to calm him down a little bit. So Pastner hit with a technical. Stacy, what do you think?
I think it's just his passion. His passion. Look at it. He's awesome, man. The passion he has and the outside the bench, it carries over to the team. You know, everyone is up for coach. When coach acts like that, and it will carry over to the players. You know.
So the 2 technical free throws converted by Adams, and that ends the 8-0 run for the Runnin' Rebels. Josh Pastner still hot. Did they say maybe he was also out of the coaching box as he walked up along the table?
Yeah, I think he also was just trying to get an explanation for what actually triggered the call. But it does potentially stop the momentum as they were just starting to kind of get a good feel. Defensively, they've been active, getting out in transition.
Guys, what I think the referees were trying to explain to Josh Pastner was it didn't matter that the action was not directed towards the official. It was the action itself of slamming the table that resulted in the technical foul.
Jarrett all over it. So the 8-0 run ending with those technical free throws by Adams as we cross the 8-minute mark here before halftime. Joining by Stacey Augman, Director of Community Engagement for the Runnin' Rebels. Here comes Adams, full head of steam, look out. Bodies thumping, flying all over the place. And we're going to get a timeout as Maryland attacks the basket. Stacey, great to see you. We wish you all the best with this new job.
Thanks for having me.
Have a great day.
Continued success, brother.
Little
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Reunion here in Las Vegas as this first half continues. You're watching the Geico Players Era Tournament on TNT. Back with you in Las Vegas. The Geico Trophy that the winning team will receive here at the Players Era Championship. All kinds of diamonds on that blackjack table. That's what they're playing for here this week in Las Vegas. And look at the first full day of results. Monster win for Tennessee. That incredible Iowa State St. John's tilt. 1-point win for Iowa State. And a highly impressive performance just a couple of minutes ago earlier tonight here. Gonzaga over number 8 Alabama. 95-85. (19-18) is your score. UNLV holding a 1-point lead. Both teams struggling a little bit with their shooting. Maryland, if you've just hopped on with us now, 7 of 17 from the floor. They're only 2 of 9 from deep. In the meantime, the Runnin' Rebels 6 of 20 from the field, 1 of 8 from the three-point line. There's Josh Pastner looking for some answers with all the injuries and missing pieces that he's got tonight. So free throws for Pharrell Payne, senior. Double transfer, one of the Texas A&M transfers with Buzz Williams. And unable to convert at the free throw line.
Stacey did give me a little inside info.
Oh, yeah?
He felt like if Hamilton and Fleming play well, they're going to have a great chance to win. Those are 2 guys that bring the energy in the fight.
Corner 3 from Gibbs. Lawhorn won't go. As we come up on the 7-minute mark, first half. Pharrell Payne, monster finish.
And I thought that was a good no call there. Tyler Jones tried to draw an offensive foul.
Boy, Payne smothers Jones. Some of that big body fierceness. Hard move to the rack by Mills.
Payne doing it on both ends on that possession. And you can see here, not a lot of contact, didn't extend, good no call, able to get the finish, and then hustles back defensively here. Great vertical play there defensively to get the block.
And Greg, it's just amazing to see Payne healthy. We heard the report from Jared. You know, we watched him get carted off on a stretcher with that nasty spill in that recent game. He was expected to miss significant time, but here he is. Well, it's nice to be young, huh?
Yeah, and a lot of young people like to go viral, but not for what happened to him. But that's hard to believe that he was able to come back from that. I thought that would be a serious injury.
That happened against Marquette. But boy, it's good to see that young man healthy back on the floor. Payne puts it on the deck in a crowd, lost the handle, and it's a turnover. Offensive foul, so they get Payne. That'll be his second personal. Certainly expected to be a big part of the mix here for Buzz Williams. See the turnover numbers as Maryland now nurses a 1-point lead. So Payne sits, and Colin Metcalf, the senior transfer from Northeastern, into the game.
Yeah, and while Payne is a big part of what they want to be, when he's been out, they have had great stretches because the court kind of opens up a little bit.
Raised the steal to the cup, couldn't finish. Last touch by the running Rebels. So the shot clock will reset to 20 for the Terps. Miles Rice, the hands defensively, a couple of steals in the game already, but an excellent effort by Gibbs Longhorn up high.
Tell you what, it's not a lack of athleticism out on the floor for UNLV, and they're going to get a turnover there from Maryland.
Just looked like two teams, GA, with all these new faces trying to find themselves. 12 turnovers committed already by the Terps. We still have 6 and change left before halftime.
Yeah, if you're Buzz Williams, if we can just get shots on the rim, you got to feel like you're going to have a chance to play well. But to your point, hard to have continuity when you've got that much turnover in terms of the roster. And then how about Gibbs Longhorn able knocking down that triple?
Last 2 years at Illinois, certainly one of the centerpiece players for Josh Pastner and the running Rebels. He's put UNLV back in front as we hit 5.5 left before the break. Mills on the attack. On the baseline, Watts around the horn. Mills, Coit for the shoot. Stumbles to the rack. Travel violation.
Another turnover. I tell you what, that was about as impressive of a defensive rotation as you are going to see. The Rebels connected on that one. Did a great job of running Maryland off that three, forcing that drive, and then the turnover.
Buzz Williams, the 53-year-old head coach, looking for some answers now on that Maryland sideline. It's Longhorn, beautiful dime, setting up Hamilton on the dive. And Kamani Hamilton's going to get himself to the free throw line for the Rebels. Foul charge to Metcalf, his first. And Kamani Hamilton, the double transfer, started at Mississippi State before moving on to High Point. And 73% free throw shooter early part of the season. Cheer on your favorite college basketball teams with officially licensed fan gear for the best selection of team apparel and accessories. Just head to shopncaasports.com today. Great to have you with us. Nightcap here in Las Vegas, MGM Grand Garden Arena. Spiro Ditas, Greg Anthony, Jared Greenberg, rest of our TNT crew. Two teams hoping to make a push. Maryland and UNLV, 4-point game.
Yeah, this 1-3-1 zone, kind of a matchup, reminiscent of the amoeba we used to play back in college. And Maryland hasn't found a comfort level. That's one guy, though, who can shoot it and get comfortable real quick. But Rebels defensively have been active. and done a really good job here of just kind of forcing Maryland to be a little disjointed offensively. How about that block shot? Pogo sticking. That one was Tyron Jones.
Foul on Saunders puts Maryland over the limit, so bonus now for the Rebels, and a 1-and-1 opportunity for TNT Sports. Coverage of the Players Era is brought to you by Lilly, a medicine company, and by Geico. It feels good to Geico. Hustle and bustle downtown Las Vegas as this Players Era tournament continues. And we see some of the all-timers here. B.J. Armstrong, Alvin Gentry in the house. Had a chance to visit here with Stacey Augmon a short time ago. And as everyone trying to take in these sites, some of the top talent in the country converging on Sin City this week.
Oh man, it's been incredible to have this many teams on display. Stacey, the Iceman. What a great teammate, great person. Really excited to see that he's back affiliated with the university. And also, I'll tell you, Buzz Williams is somebody who I've always admired. I'm excited for him and his opportunity with Maryland. I think Buzz is going to do a really good job there. He's a tough recruiter, incredible motivator. I'm still getting used to Maryland being in the Big Ten. I always think ACC, but it's starting to sink in.
Well, it hasn't been a great run for the Terps since they made that transition to the Big Ten. Is Buzz Williams the guy who brings them back to prominence? Tyron Jones, some of that terrific interior defense. And underneath out of bounds here for the Terps with 19 seconds to shoot.
Tell you what, Tyron Jones, he hadn't made a field goal yet, but 5 blocks, three blocks, 5 rebounds here in the first half. So he's definitely had an impact.
Saunders misfires, offensive rebound, Adams. And the Terps just keep throwing it all over the gym. 15 first half turnovers. Fleming Jr. into the corner. This is Gibbs' Longhorn. And the rebound corralled by Saunders.
Partner, when you said 15 turnovers, I was about to be surprised, but you and I have had a little bit of an experience with some turnovers when we did that Dayton Marquette game.
Yes.
Dayton ended up with 25 in that game, and Marquette had 20. Now we got poor spacing here by UNLV, able to get a bailout.
Gibbs Longhorn bailing out the Rebels. Boy, beautiful move to the rack, slicing into the paint. 7 points for the junior. Three-pointer won't go from Darius Adams. And the Terps once again come up empty. Final buck 12. 6-point UNLV lead. Fleming Jr. gets him reset. Swing here. Gibbs Longhorn working against Adams. There's a shot. Williamson 3, no. Loose ball foul against Maryland underneath. That'll put the Rebels in the double bonus. 2 free throws with 54.4 seconds left. Reminder coming up, the Modelo halftime report. We'll get you caught up on all the day's action. Lefko and the fellas. Bruce Pearl. Detroit's finest. Jalen Rose getting themselves ready. Chris Webber standing by.
Did you get a chance to check out that jacket Coach Pearl had on?
I did. Very nice. Lefko showing us his dance moves.
Covering all the bases because he had that color orange at Auburn, of course at Tennessee as well. There it is. Looks good, man. Jacket. I might have to see who made that. I might have to try to get one of those.
I think maybe Bruce will give you his jacket right there.
I don't know if that one gonna fit, but I might have to try it out. We'll see.
Great to see Bruce at the desk, and we will be watching, getting their first half thoughts. as we are down to 48 seconds now left in the half. 6-point Maryland deficit. I'm also told Bruce is going to join that Auburn-Michigan broadcast tomorrow. What a moment that'll be as he coaches or watches his son coach. How objective will Bruce be able to?
I think he will. First of all, listen, he knows the best thing he can do to help his son is to be objective. But I don't think there's any question Stephen's going to do a good job for Auburn. But what Bruce did to really revamp that program, really impressive.
It's going to be fun to watch tomorrow. What a big opportunity, big game for both of those teams, those programs. Missed free throw, offensive rebound here, 30 seconds. And now Buzz Williams going to get a timeout here with 25.5 left. Speaking of tomorrow's games, let's take a little peek at the schedule. Day 2 of the Players Era. This is the TNT schedule tomorrow. Syracuse, what a performance. They pushed Houston, gave the Cougars everything they could handle. What a matchup that is going to be. Tennessee and Houston at 6 p.m. Eastern right here on TNT. Then, of course, Auburn, Michigan. Another bunch of heavyweights tomorrow. This is the True TV slate tomorrow. We will have the 2 games in the nightcap, Maryland, Gonzaga, and Alabama against the Rebels. As this Players Era championship continues.
What a great opportunity, really, for all these schools. We talk about a lot of times. Oftentimes, it's when you start getting to the holiday tournament season where you get a real barometer of where you are. You tend to play what they call the bye games. I call them cupcakes to start the season off. But now is when you're starting to kind of get a sense of, okay, who are we? What do we need to do to improve? When you get into these games, we saw it firsthand in that Gonzaga-Alabama. What a terrific game that was.
Gonzaga showing the country that they're a legitimate national championship contender. Diggy Coit, shot clock at 9. This is Rice, pull up 3, got it. Much needed basket for the Terps.
How about that timeout by Buzz Williamson there to make sure his guys were able to regroup and figure out how to attack that zone, and it leads to a triple.
Down to 3 seconds. Fleming Jr. loses his footing. Never got that shot off cleanly. And so Buzz Williams and Maryland, despite all the turnovers, despite all the shooting woes, are going to go into the halftime locker room down only 3 points. 30-27 as we reach halftime here in Vegas. After the break, Adam Lefkoe, Bruce Pearl, Jalen Rose, and Chris Webber are ready to get you caught up on all the day's action as we continue next on TNT. Geico game summary wasn't for the faint of heart. If you're an offensive lover, both teams struggling with their shooting. Look at the turnovers by Maryland. Amazing that this is a 1-score game as we sit in for the final 20 minutes. Spiro Ditas, Greg Anthony. We'll hear from Jared Greenberg here in just a little bit. First half assessment, and then what if you're the coaches telling your players at halftime?
Well, listen, if you're Buzz Williamson, you probably feel pretty good. 15 turnovers, your best player, Diggy Coit, only 1 of 6 from the field with the 5 turnovers. And yet you're down 1 possession. So you've got to feel like, hey, if we can just figure out how to attack this zone, we should be able to take control. And if you're Josh Pastner, listen, it's not like they're shooting lights out either, right? 9 of 29 from the field, 2 of 12 from 3. If they can get a little bit better shot quality, they got to feel like they're going to have a chance to maybe get out of here with a dub.
Jared, you spoke to both teams.
Yeah, starting with Josh Pastner, he was really impressed with his defense, wants to be more aggressive, as GA said, offensively. Likes some of the threes, but says we need to take better threes, not contested threes. As Maryland, as you might predict, you said, GA, as Maryland gets the bucket there to start the half, they need to quit turning the basketball over. Steve Roccaforte, assistant coach, told me, we prepared for this zone defense. We talked about it. We showed it to the guys. We need to do better penetrating and not be as timid as we were in the first half.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jared, that first offensive possession for Maryland against the zone turned out pretty well. They're going to get an offensive foul. They try to run that same set again. And the one negative about that, even though that set created the first opportunity, you're going to have to do it with ball movement and spacing. If you're Maryland, they're going to have to get comfortable going against that zone. That's the only way you're going to get UNLV to come out of it, especially that they're shorthanded.
Told you where these two teams sit coming into this one tonight. UNLV 3-2, highlighted by that double-digit road win at Memphis that Greg alluded to at the top of the show. How do they handle this Maryland team? The Terps come in 4-1. Beautiful stroke, straight away three. Williamson.
And we talked about it too. The leading scorers, Coit and Williamson, both not at their best in that first half, but Williamson here able to knock down that triple to get things going.
Stacey Augmon said if Williamson plays at a high level, we're a different team to contend with. A beautiful looking drive, everything but the finish from Adams. Numbers for the Rebels. And Gibbs Lawhorn just couldn't squeeze it as they turn it over on a 2-on-1 break.
Yeah, I think he was expecting a lob there. You see Williamson able to just create that space and shoot that triple in rhythm there. But boy, that is a wasted opportunity there. 2-on-1 transition opportunity that you don't convert.
Maryland trying to deal with this Rebels matchup 2-3 zone defense. Pharrell Payne welcoming himself back into the lineup. Didn't play in that last one with that grip, groin/hip injury. And he's got 8 points for Buzz Williams.
Yeah, and I like the play by Coit to create that opportunity for him.
UNLV couldn't shoot straight in the first half, and they're dialing it up right now from deep. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn, their second leading scorer entering the night, better than 16 per game. And he's given the Rebels a 7-point lead. UNLV has hit its first 3 shots of the half. Williamson on the miss. Two and a half gone by in the half. Strong move to the rack by Mills as he's going to get himself to the free throw line.
Well, you saw that you obviously made some adjustments at halftime if you're Buzz Williamson to be a little more patient and look to attack the interior. This time they're able to get it down low to Payne. The patience there pays off for the Deuce. And he comes right back at him. Only made 2 threes in the entire first half. Already have knocked down 2 here at the start of the second.
So Andre Mills, Boston native, redshirt freshman, Texas A&M transfer. Last year redshirted his true freshman year with Buzz Williams in College Station. But obviously, guys, going to play a significant role on this Maryland team this season. He's cut the deficit to 5, with just under 3 minutes gone by in the second half.
And Spiro, I'm still trying to get used to Buzz Williams not being in a suit.
Same here. There's not many men who can pull off the red pants, but Buzz is certainly one of them.
He's doing it. He is doing it.
A lot of Maryland fans certainly excited to have him in College Park. That's a good-looking 3. Adams, corner pocket. And Maryland gets a little bit closer. Look out, Gibbs Lawhorn sacrificing his body. So the offensive efficiency has picked up for both teams, at least the early part of the second half.
Yeah, a lot of it is shot quality. One thing to do against the zone is play faster, right? Not allow it to get set. Again, great job, Coit, there with the kick ahead for the Deuce.
Meantime, that's the 3rd personal on Pharrell Payne, so he's got to be careful now. Maybe something for Buzz to think about here with just over 3 minutes gone by in the half. As Gibbs Lawhorn, the Illinois transfer, one of Josh Pastner's most important early signees, a one-time Purdue commit. Last 2 years with the Illini. Last year appeared in all 35 games 2 starts. All that speed, all that offensive ability that he brings to the table. He's giving the Rebels a 4-point lead. Payne, what's the call here? In a wrestling match with Tyron Jones down low. And it looks like they can get Jones on a personal. So that's going to be his 4th. And he's going to have to sit now, so that's a huge loss. You already know what they're missing on the front court with their injured bodies. So it's a big call with Jones having to sit.
Yeah, and probably going to have to sit for a while, right? We got 16:44 here to go in the game. So they're going to have to get some really good minutes off their bench.
So Dembele is inserted, the junior out of Newark. And he's got to be up against the big bad Payne here to the rim. Contact. As bodies bumping underneath, and it's a traveling violation.
Yeah.
As Dembele holds his ground.
I was going to say, really good job from Dembele. And your hope is that Dembele can give you some solid post defense. Not going to have the kind of impact from an offensive standpoint that maybe you got from Jones.
Gibbs Longhorn set up beautifully. Williamson on a beautiful dime into the corner.
Yeah.
7-point lead.
I'll tell you what, he is giving them some tremendous minutes here. Plays with a lot of fire on the floor.
Here's Diggy Court. Can he get his game going? Misses again. And a loose ball foul against Maryland. So Diggy Coyne now, GA, is 1 for 7 shooting. He's got 5 turnovers in the game.
He's actually playing better in the second half, though, and I think it's going to be critical for him. You can still play well without shooting it well.
Hamilton misfires. Reset, nicely done on the track down by Fleming Jr. Here's Gibbs Longhorn. He's hit the last 8 points for the Rebels. Looking for more into the defense. And it's out of bounds. Last touched by the Rebels. We'll get a timeout on the floor. 15 and change remaining in regulation. Rebels up 7 on TNT.
We got to have an edge and chip about us right now. They just think this is just the first half, like they were a little soft. We've got to have an edge. We've got to play with a fire in our belly.
Yes, sir. You
got that? This is our game. But this is a 5-round street fight right now. Okay? Methodically, we got to take care of business. Hey.
Some of the coaching, some of the intensity. Josh Pastner, year 1, early stages as he takes over the reins of this program. Says it's a street fight. Let's go finish.
Yeah, I love that, the edge. And that's it. You really always want to go out as a competitor with that chip on your shoulder. Always looking for some kind of motivation to push yourself.
Former walk-on under Lute Olson at Arizona. Just a crazy basketball story. Of course, started his coaching career under Lute as a graduate assistant. Eventually moving on to John Calipari's staff at Memphis before taking over the reins there after Cal left for Kentucky. And I loved what he said. He said, one of the reasons I'm wearing the shirt and tie is to honor Jerry Tarkanian, the respect he had for Tark. Those great teams that he built here in Vegas, trying to restore this program to prominence.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love the intensity and effort with which this group, although short-handed, is fighting. And how about Darius Adams? Hadn't shot it great tonight, but you could see the potential in that young man.
Williamson loses the handle. Coy takes it away. Then the official's going to get a reach-in foul in the transition. So the Rebels turn it over. Their lead down to 5. And some of the tantalizing potential here of the freshman Darius Adams.
Yeah, nice attack there. He's fallen in love with the 3 a little bit tonight. Obviously, he's capable, but he's got great length and athleticism along with ball skills. You just don't want to settle for just shooting 3s.
For the backdoor cut here, Watts on the baseline, up, playing through contact. Saunders, no. Watts in for the rebound. And they're going to get him reset. 13 to shoot. Adams buries a three. And here come the Terps within two.
There you go for Adams. He got that layup, and sometimes all it takes is to see the ball go through the basket to get your rhythm.
Adams has scored the last 8 for Maryland. Just under 6 minutes gone by, second half. Boy, look out. Dembele throwing Watts to the deck. Looked like Dembele was frustrated with some of the contact.
And that's what the call was. The foul was called before he dislodged him. No question. He took him and threw him. If you're Buzz Williams, that's one where you might think about challenging. It doesn't look like he wants to.
Well, thankfully, Watts looks like he's okay. His head almost snapped back at the deck. What a finish!
Goodness.
Hamilton! Hard right-handed thump.
That was an emphatic finish there, a statement finish. Trying to get the momentum back for UNLV.
4-point Rebels lead as we cross the 14-minute mark. Nifty handle, Gibbs, Lawhorn, Skies, missed it. So can Maryland now settle into their half-court offense? If you've just joined us, they're shooting at only a 39% clip. Crazy turnover issues so far. And despite that, they're down only 4 points, but they cough it up again. 2-on-1 break. Beautiful dime. Cunningham as a trailer.
And you talked about it. It seems like Maryland will have a stretch where things are going well. Then it's the turnovers. Just a little careless with the basketball that creates those opportunities in the open floor.
19 Maryland turnovers, and the Rebels taking advantage.
Getting out in transition and able to get that finish. The Rebels playing with some confidence.
And we welcome you back to the Geico Players Era. Day 1 coverage on TNT presented by Sam's Club. As we take a look now at our Sam's Club play of the game. UNLV starting to dial it up now with their defense getting out in the transition.
Yeah, this play here, Tony Hamilton getting all the way to the rim. And a nice pass by Gibbs the horn there to Nas Cunningham for the flush. And the Rebels, just when it feels like Maryland's starting to get a rhythm and a feel for how to attack, the activity level and the defense for the Rebels allows them to get out in transition and just keep a little bit of separation here. The 13-minute mark.
So the Maryland Terrapins now 39% shooting. And they get their half-court offense going. And another turnover. Traveling violation.
And you can tell, you remember Buzz talked about the fact that they just really haven't quite figured out who they are, and this zone has them perplexed. They just don't seem to have a game plan for how they want to attack it.
Here comes Cunningham, had that big dunk a moment ago, misses a little bit short. Up the floor, Mills. Nicely done. Goes glass, badly needed basket for the Terps. And that's going to cut it to 4. But Gibbs Lawhorn there got away with a step. Nice little Euro step. Cunningham couldn't put it down. So a couple empty trips for the Rebels out of the timeout. This is Payne establishing underneath, putting all the pressure on Dembele. And Pharrell Payne going to shoot free throws.
And we talked about it. That's one thing you can do if you're Maryland. Get in early transition before the zone can get set. There'll be opportunities to attack there. 2 straight possessions now with a chance where they can convert.
So the senior Minnesota native at the line able to connect on the first. 4 days of college hoops action end under the Palm Springs lights. The Acrisure series concludes Friday at 2 Eastern on TNT and HBO Max. So Payne hits on both. He's just scored his 1,000th career point. Going to get a little rest here. Buzz calls him to the bench.
Maryland now kind of extending their pressure, a little 1-2-2 zone. Let's see if they can disrupt what UNLV is trying to do offensively.
Good ball movement. They get it to Hamilton. Misfires from 3. Andre Mills, strong rebound in traffic. Mills going to pull at the other end. That's a little too much. Rebound underneath Dembele. Maryland now is 5 of 20 from deep. Make it 5 for 21. Beautiful floater baseline. Isaac Williamson starting to heat up here at GA in the second half.
Yeah, he's going to have an impact from an offensive standpoint for UNLV.
Rice catch and shoot. That's good.
And I like, again, playing with a little more pace, a little earlier in the shot clock, not allowing that zone to squeeze their offense.
And we're going to get a hooking foul. It's on Hamilton. Good defense from Alston, holding his ground. And this Maryland team showing signs of life with their outside stroke on TNT. Men's and women's titles are on the line in one of college basketball's boldest events. Coverage of the Geico Players Era Tournament Championship continues on TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. As we welcome you back inside MGM Grand Garden Arena, downtown Vegas, 10:55. Almost to the midway point of the second half. We got a 1-point game as we take a little peek at the Geico assist leaderboard. Isaac Williamson, Miles Rice leading their respective teams.
Yeah, Williamson, we talked about, he's going to be important. Rice finally able to get going offensively, knocking down that triple as well. He's a guy that can also have a huge impact offensively. It's starting to feel like Maryland getting a sense of how they want to attack the zone.
Miles Rice, double transfer, pulls up, misses way short. And Maryland's three-point struggles continue. Howie Fleming Jr. sealed up on the baseline, double team. Gets it on a reset, gonna pull. And he misses badly. So UNLV hasn't been much better from deep now. 5 of 19. Miles, that's good. Andre Mills. I beg your pardon. First Maryland lead since the 7-minute mark of the first half.
And then you gotta give them a lot of credit. Great perseverance. A lot of things haven't gone well, right? They've turned it over, haven't shot it well. Their best players struggled, but they have been resilient.
But it's a tough shot. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn getting to the middle of the paint. He's got 17 points for the Rebels, and we are tied with 9:47 left in regulation. So that lead for Buzz Williams and the Terps short-lived. Good-looking stroke. Andre Mills on a straightaway jack.
And he's had some really good minutes, Mills, here in this second half. And that triple there, that first lead, and if you're Buzz Williams, can you get Diggy Coit going? You know, he's a guy that's been a big part of your offense early in the season here, yet to kind of get on track.
1 for 7 from the field is Coit. TNT Sports coverage of the Players Era is brought to you by Lilly, a medicine company. And by Geico. It feels good to Geico. Just before 11 o'clock. Locally here in Las Vegas. Early morning hours down College Park, Maryland. Some of the diehard Terps fans hoping that their Maryland Terps can get a big neutral site early season win here in Vegas. Miles Rice probing, turns the corner and lays it up and in.
Tell you what, they've done a good job with Payne coming out in that pick and roll action and diving hard, creating a great driving angle there.
Josh Pastner knew he was going to need a big night from his two guards, Williamson and Gibbs-Lawhorn. As right now the Rebels down 2 points. Here comes Payne, barreling into the bucket. What a wide load he is as he's going to get himself back to the free throw line.
And we talked about Payne, such a wide body. Watch when he sets the screen. Look at the angle of attack it creates. And allows for Mills to turn that corner there. And now Payne finding himself at the free throw line.
Remember, GA, Tyron Jones picked up his fourth personal just under the 17-minute mark, so that forced him to sit for a number of minutes. Now Jones is going to be reinserted with Dembele to the bench as Josh Pastner kind of keep pace here with his front court, really thinned out with all the injuries.
Yeah, I think he probably feels like he went about as long as he could go without having Jones out there. Just misses that athleticism, the shot blocking, the rim running. Can he avoid picking up that fifth foul?
Buzz Williams extends his defense as they settle back into their half court. As we cross the 9-minute mark left, Maryland with a 4-point lead. A couple of hungry teams looking to get one here in Vegas. Fleming Jr. wraparound pass. Beautiful vision, getting it to Jones for the two-handed flush.
And that's the one thing with Jones. He puts tremendous pressure on the rim, which really involves the back line of your defense.
Terps staring down that 2-3 matchup zone. Coy, he's 1 of 8. GA, you talk about feast or famine. 41 points just a couple of days ago against Mount St. Mary's, and he can't buy one tonight.
Yeah, and it is tough. He's primarily a three-point shooter, so and there are going to be nights where that shot's just not falling.
Gibbs-Lawhorn misses from deep. So the Rebels now 5 of 21 from the three-point strike. Payne calling for it. Jones playing with 4 fouls. Payne attacks the spin, and he is whacked. Walter Brown coming over, getting his money's worth. And Pharrell Payne put all kinds of havoc on this defense.
Yeah, he understands Jones has got those 4 fouls. Smart for Maryland to be aggressive, to go at him. Payne able to draw the foul.
Take a look at our game summary. 7:30 to play in regulation. Gibbs-Lawhorn starting to come alive for Josh Pastner, 17 points. But he's got to deal with some issues now with the fouls. Tyron Jones playing with 4. Just avoided his potential 5th and final foul as Pharrell Payne has become a handful. And he's going to shoot more free throws here, GA for Maryland.
And I like the strategy by Buzz Williams in the Terps. Take advantage of his physicality down low. And he's a guy, he's shown he can make free throws. UNLV, not a lot of size with the injuries they're dealing with, the foul trouble. And that's been an area where you can exploit the zone if you're patient enough to get the ball down low.
Pharrell Payne out of Cottage Grove, Minnesota. About 10 miles south of St. Paul. Coming over from Texas A&M with Buzz Williams, one of the new pieces for the Terps. Williamson misfires from 3. So Maryland now a chance to build on this 3-point lead. As we hit the 7-minute mark left. Adams looking for a crease. Good defense. Gives Lawhorn 10 to shoot. Payne overplayed. Royce just had too much. Biggest lead for the Terps.
And that was the patience there. He had a great seal on the post.
Jones wild, out of control. Someone lost the wheel. Looks like it's Payne.
We're going to referee timeout and give him a chance to put that shoe back on. But great patience on that last possession. He had a great seal, and then they made the right play. You see the seal, then kick it to the corner, and then it's an easy dump off. That weak side rotator defensively just not able to get there in time. And now that the feel for what they want to do to attack it for Maryland starting to show itself here in the latter stages.
Adams misses on a 3 that would have extended it to an 8-point lead. Where do the Rebels turn here for some offense? Williamson, one of their indispensable pieces, is going to be fouled here on the pass.
Number 13,
it's on Saunders. That'll be his 4th personal. And the 5th against Maryland. So they've only got one more foul to give. Rebels are already over the limit. As Andre Mills in, Saunders sits.
And if you're the Rebels, where is the offense going to come from? They have really gotten a little stagnant here of late. This is one of the guys that normally does a good job of scoring for you, but Williamson continuing to have his struggles offensively.
So Isaac Williamson now 4 of 11 from the field. Strong move to the cup by Rice. But contact, and it looks like Maryland's going to maintain possession as they stepped out of bounds.
Good job there with the block, but just couldn't stay in bounds there. Great effort, though, by Jones.
Well, the other key stat in this game, bench scoring, as it has been all Maryland tonight, 17-4. Josh Pastner just doesn't have a ton with the reserve unit that's been really stressed with some of the injuries. Here comes Adams trying to chisel his way into the paint. The official's going to get a reach in here. Gibbs Lawhorn. The shot clock was down to 7. And a 1-and-1 here for the Rebels.
That's one of those plays where...
For Maryland, I beg your pardon.
Yeah. You can see Adams a little out of control, had lost control of the basketball. And that late reach in by Gibbs Lawhorn puts him on the line.
1-1.
So Darius Adams hits on the front end of the 1-and-1. This season's underway, and every week the stakes rise higher. Don't miss Big 12 football. Saturdays, TNT, True TV, and HBO Max. Good one this week. Number 23, Houston, hitting the road in Waco to take on Baylor. Told you about Darius Adams, one of the highest rated recruits in Maryland history. Former McDonald's All-American. At La Lumiere High School in Indiana. Actually decommitted from Connecticut. And what an acquisition. What a coup for this Maryland staff. Boy, nearly a backcourt violation by Rice as they reset. We come up on the 5-minute mark. Maryland with possession and a 7-point lead.
Maryland a lot better in terms of taking care of the basketball, and I like the discipline offensively.
Adams, deep three. Rebels coughed up the rebound. Watts resets. Adams on a dive, and he's going to get himself to the free throw line. Still a 1-and-1 for the Terrapins. So Darius Adams, 82% free throw shooter early part of the season. Back to the stripe.
Yeah, and you can see the fatigue starting to play a role for UNLV, and credit Maryland. You know, they stayed with it. They didn't get too rattled, even though things weren't going well. And I'll tell you what, Adams is starting to have a nice impact on this game.
Second half free throw numbers. Maryland now 10 of 11 at the free throw line. Big part of the reason why they've built this 8-point lead. You know, I was thinking both of these teams play tomorrow night. For Maryland, does that count as a doubleheader? Because we're now into Tuesday morning. Boy, look out. Adams takes a hard shot. Jones down as well.
Yeah, those are head-to-head there. That one.
Oh, boy. Just hate to see it. Both players writhing in pain. And a hush has befallen this arena with the concern. Oh, boy, you can see that lump on Darius Adams' forehead. Took a wicked shot. And just trying to shake it off. With the athletic trainers now coming over, both head coaches. Tyron Jones still down on the floor. Freshman, Las Vegas native.
Both freshmen, right? And I tell you what, Tyron Jones is giving them some really great moments on both sides of the floor. So the hope is he's going to be okay. You can see just two guys going,
oh boy,
playing hard. Nothing malicious about that, but boy, a lot of pain involved in that.
Now, Greg, this hasn't been a pretty game. Obviously, the shooting numbers, so many turnovers, but both of these teams are playing so hard at both ends of the floor, sacrificing their bodies, as evidenced by that last collision between those two. And now Jones is going to be escorted into the locker room. We've touched on just how thin they are with the front court, so now an even more dire situation for Josh Pastner, as they will take a closer look at Jones now in the locker room.
An 8-point lead. Now, still a ton of time for UNLV, but they have really struggled to score the basketball. Remember, this team came in averaging 90 points a game.
So UNLV already without Jacob Bernarby tonight, out with that calf injury. So Walter Brown going to have to play some important minutes here down the stretch. Rebels keep possession, deflected out of bounds. Good hands defensively by Rice. And the Rebels are inbound with 11 to shoot. And a good sign is Darius Adams going to come back in. Diggy Coit will sit. Looks like he's got a little limp as he clutches down at that right ankle on the Maryland bench.
And for UNLV now, where do you go for offense?
Rebels have not scored a point in 4+ minutes. Here's Green, his first attempt, and he buries it. Al Green, the senior from Sacramento, the San Diego City College transfer. Last stop, Louisiana Tech, as he welcomes himself to the party.
I tell you what, that was a huge triple on a broken play, if you will. And all of a sudden, it gives the Rebels a little bit more life defensively.
Shot clock at 6. Rice probing. Watts will fire. And now Green already putting his fingerprints over this game. Contact as Green forces the issue. He's got all kinds of energy to bring it off the bench. And we're going to get a timeout.
Team that's been struggling all game for offense. Al Green delivers here late, keeping the Rebels' hopes alive.
Here in Vegas, time now to get you our Geico moment of the game. Pharrell Payne has been ferocious. Some of his work on the interior, and they have had no answer with that UNLV front court.
They hadn't gotten a lot of looks for him, but boy, when he's gotten it down low, he has been efficient and effective.
15 points, 5 of 6, has eclipsed the 1,000th career point. First year in the program, coming over from Texas A&M. And hoping to put the finishing touches on this UNLV squad. Let's check in with Jared.
Guys, good news for UNLV. After that hard fall and collision, Tyron Jones has emerged from the UNLV locker room, and he has been medically cleared to return if coach elects to put him back in the game.
We'll see how Josh Pastner handles things here down the stretch. Al Green sealed off on the baseline nicely. The reset gives Lawhorn. They need it badly. Misfires. And a loose ball foul against the Terrapins.
That'll be free throws.
7th team foul, so it puts UNLV in the bonus. That's a big call. Chance to cut this thing down to 3. And Elijah Saunders has fouled out.
That was a big play you saw there on the contact. And now all of a sudden, Walter Brown with a chance here to make this a one-possession game.
Walter Brown from New Zealand. Hits on the front end. He's a senior. Played for the Canterbury Rams of the National Basketball League of New Zealand the past 5 years. Comes in off his 10-point performance in their win earlier this week against St. Joseph's. And 2 big free throws to make this a one-score game.
And just when it seemed like Maryland had seized control and was starting to pull away with it, all of a sudden now, Rebels with a chance here if they can get a stop to potentially tie this thing up.
So Maryland's offense has gone cold. They've missed their last 4 shots. Payne dives on it, gets it back, shot clock down to 8. Well, they somehow get it to Payne again underneath. He was wide open.
But how about the effort there by Payne? He initially loses the ball, becomes a loose ball. He's the first one on the floor to come up with it, the presence to get it out to Coit. And then how about Coit seeing there he's on wide open down low, gets it to him, able to get the foul and back to the line.
So Maryland in the double bonus, 2 free throws rest of the game. Gee, the other thing to keep in mind for both of these coaches, both of these teams have to play tomorrow night. Such a physical, intense game that this has been. Maryland will play Gonzaga, which looked just incredible earlier tonight. And UNLV's got to contend with Nate Oates and Alabama, who's going to be hungry to bounce back after their defeat earlier tonight. Off the miss, it's Andre Mills hitting the offensive glass.
And you can see this group on the floor for UNLV, not a lot of size or athleticism, and really hard to control that defensive backboard.
Coit, he got it! Opportunistic.
And boy, was he due after his struggles to shoot the basketball.
Or Josh Pastner may be wondering if he waited too long to put Al Green in the game, as he has helped ignite this break, helping get the basketball to Howie Fleming Jr., who's going to get himself to the free throw line. And Biggie Coit, 2nd 3 of the night. And what has been a struggle.
Tell you what, though, he's made some solid plays here down the stretch. The Rebels, Fleming there, not able to convert. Not been to the line a lot in this second half. And that miss there, huge.
Free throw shooting has been a strength early in the season for this Maryland team. Nearly 27 made free throws per game. That's the 3rd highest in the country through the first couple of weeks in the season. And that trend, GA, has continued tonight. 13 of 18 at the line. especially in the second half. 6-point lead as we hit 2.5 minutes left. Quite off balance, gets it to Adams. Rice from deep. Look at Payne, and a chance at 3.
I tell you, the big fella, he has settled himself underneath that basket all night long. Just been relentless there. Great job on the block out. Goes up strong, able to corral it, takes the contact. And that right there could be a play that allows Maryland to get out of here with the W.
Andre Mills fired up as Kamani Hamilton has fouled out now for the Rebels. Walter Brown also is going to sit, so Tyron Jones back in. Also Laji Dembele reinserted by Josh Pastner. Payne unable to convert. So now the Rebels have to work quickly. They're down 8 as we come up on the final 2 minutes. Gibbs Lawhorn trying to turn the corner. Taking a 2, missed it. And now desperation time for the Rebels.
You need stops. You can ill afford to foul at this point. And if you're Maryland, just milk that clock. You don't need to play fast. Let it be your friend.
Coit pulls it back and buries it. Diggy Coit rising to the moment late in the night here in Vegas.
He knows, as we know, coming off that 41-point performance, he's more than capable. And boy, has he come up when they needed it most.
Al Green, little short on the corner 3. And we're down to $1:14 left. Maryland's defense tightening the clamps right when they needed to, GA. UNLV missing 7 of its last 8 shots. Here comes Coit. The Rebels on the push. Jones, open floor jam. Josh Pastner's going to take a quick timeout as we're down to 48.8 left. 9-point Maryland lead as they try to slam the door on the Rebels. Late stages on TNT. One more check of the tournament schedule scoreboard on this first full day. Big wins for Tennessee and Michigan. And Maryland hoping to get one here to propel them to their date tomorrow with Mark Few and Gonzaga. And it does not get any easier.
If you're Maryland, though, what an opportunity if you somehow are able to come back and pull that off. That's going to look really good on the resume. Gonzaga, though, really impressive earlier in their win over a tough, talented Alabama team.
UNLV again will be in action tomorrow night against Alabama. And here we go, 48.4 inbound to Mills. Rebels looking for the steal here. They get a hand on it. Jones. Boy, Coit, what a heady play. Ahead of the pack for Adams. And then it's Payne. Boy, Pharrell Payne getting comfortable with his new team. Good looking stroke from Green. Quick trigger. That'll cut it to 8, 31.7. But Pharrell Payne starting to flex down the stretch here in Vegas.
I'll tell you, an opportunity there, just can't come up with the loose ball. And Adams there, nice delivery to Payne for the finish. Rewarding the big fella. Boy, he has come up big here in the second half.
Out of Park High School, Cottage Grove, Minnesota. And what a piece he's going to be for Buzz Williams and this Maryland team. Basically a completely overhauled roster. Mention what Buzz has done with this staff already in the recruiting game. And one of the guys that they've signed already, 5-star recruit, Babatunde Oladotun. And the significance of that, he's a Silver Spring, Maryland kid. So to get a 5-star recruit out of that part of the DMV kind of tells you where this thing is going with Buzz Williams. One of the reasons why they brought him, again, his familiarity with that region of recruiting as they try to bring this Maryland program back to the college basketball mountaintop.
He rewarded him right away, right? Being able to go out and not just get him right now, early season, it's the 3rd-ranked recruiting class in the country. So impressive start and solid win here, potentially against UNLV.
Rebels hoping to make one last push ahead of the field. Rice stripped away. Boy, lost it for a second. Coit was there. Fleming Jr. had a chance. And it's going to be Diggy Coit to the free throw line. 21.2. And a chance to push this now to a 10-point lead.
We talked about Coit really struggled in that first half. Didn't shoot it well. 5 turnovers, but second half, he has been really good for him down the stretch.
And Jay, a bunch of these guys hoping to play one day in the NBA. They're going to get a taste of the back-to-back.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, getting themselves hopefully some good sleep. Get those bodies right as they both prepare for 2 tough matchups here tomorrow night. Miles Rice will sit. Isaiah Watts checks in here for the final 20 seconds. Fleming Jr. on the wing, Green. And I got a feeling we're going to be seeing a little more Al Green tomorrow night.
Listen, with a shorthanded roster and his ability to make triples, remember this UNLV team has struggled mightily really to shoot the ball from distance in this early season.
Boy, it wasn't pretty at times, but Buzz Williams, Maryland Terrapins get one in Vegas. And they will face Gonzaga tomorrow night here at the Players Era Championship. 74-67 as they defeat UNLV. Buzz Williams will walk over, will join Jared Greenberg as the Terrapins get to 5-1 on the young season. And Josh Pastner's Rebels fall to 3-3. Maryland GA struggled from the 3-point line, but they started to catch fire a little bit towards the end when it mattered most.
And that 3 there by Diggy Coit, probably the difference maker. Another one as an exclamation point. But they got Maryland some really good performances. We talked about Payne. Boy, he was a load for the Rebels to deal with. And the freshman also, Adams, played really well in stretches. Darius Adams for this Maryland team.
Maryland shoots 42%. They were just 9 of 31 from the 3-point line. But in the end, they win it as we throw it over to Jared with Buzz Williams.
Coach, if I would have told you this morning that your team would commit 20 turnovers over the first 27 minutes of this game, would you have given your team a chance?
Just really bad. Really bad. It's a problem. It's been a problem. And in some ways, we've done better with that problem. We have a long list of problems. But the last week and a half, that one's kind of been on the shelf. I don't know how many we had at halftime. I think it was 15, and we were down 3. Like, just let the clock go off and give them the ball. So it's a dead ball turnover. And mathematically, we would have a better chance. A lot of it is a credit to Coach Pastner and their team constantly changing what they were doing in the full court and in the half court. But our ability to recognize it and handle it and make good decisions from it, we've got to fix it if we can while we're in Vegas. But long term, you can't play like that analytically. It's just too much to overcome.
Well, Coach, you got to overcome 22 hours before your next one. Good luck against Gonzaga.
Well, they'll score 100 in the first half if we turn it over 15 times in the first half. So I know Coach is really good, Hall of Fame. I know their team is as old as anybody in the country and really talented. I don't know anything other than that. So we've got a lot of work to do on ourselves.
Get some rest, Coach. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Guys.
All right, Jared, gotta love Buzz Williams. No doubt this Maryland program back on the rise as they hope to ascend in the Big Ten. Special thanks to our terrific crew, our producer Dan Keener, our director Mark Vittorio, associate director Leslie Zeroli, our graphics producers Sarah Servetnik and Raul Bonilla, and our statistician here at the table has been Rich Gaynor. Now for GA, Jared Greenberg Spirididis saying good night from Las Vegas. You've been watching the Players Era from Las Vegas.